Hello everyone, Ayan this side and you are watching my YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about hypoxia. So what is hypoxia? Let us understand. But before that, let us see what we learned in the previous video module. In the previous video module, we learned how cell copes with different type of stresses. Now, what are the strategies that the cell applies to deal with different stresses? Those strategies were hypoplasia, hypertrophy. Those strategies were hypoplasia, hypertrophy, atrophy, and metaplasia. Now today we will try to see what are the stressors which cause the stress. Now for a stress to occur, now if you have a stress, then there will be certain factors which will be causing the stress, and those factors are known as stressors. In pathology and cell injury, we have mainly 5 type of stressors. Now let's understand what are the 5 type of stressors, right? Now for that, I try to remember a star. Now what does this star signifies? The star, in each apex of the star, we can see that one stressor is there. So let's see that. Now the most common cause of stress or a most common stressor is hypoxia, right? Apart from that, there can be physical agents causing stress. There can be chemical agents that can cause stress. There can be immune components that can cause stress, or there can be other genetic predispositions for stress, genetic factors or genetic predisposition. These are the main 5 type of stressors which will cause stress in most of the pathological scenario. Apart from all these, there can be other scenarios as well which we are not considering in this video. Those are special cases, and we will be discussing those things when we will be dealing with those special scenarios in our pathology. But for now, just remember, you can have either hypoxia, you can have physical agents causing the stress, you can have chemical agents, you can have immune components, or you can have genetic factors or genetic predisposition which can cause stress. Alright, so these are the stressors. Now for this video, we will try to focus solely on hypoxia as a stressor, because hypoxia is one of the most common causes of stress or one of the most common stressors. Now in this video, we will look into hypoxia as a stressor. Alright, now whenever I think of hypoxia, I feel very hungry. Believe me, I feel very hungry. Now whenever I feel hungry, I feel like ordering a pizza. Now before ordering a pizza, let's understand the supply chain of pizza, how pizza is supplied. Now for supply of pizza, if you have to make the dough of the pizza, you require something known as the wheat. This is a bag full of wheat. Now this wheat has to be transferred to the shop which will be cooking the pizza, or the pizza store, right? There has to be some storefront which will be selling you pizza, right? There will be a storefront which will be receiving the wheat and will be cooking the pizza for you. Then what will happen? This pizza, once the pizza is prepared, this pizza will be delivered to me, right? But the delivery will be made by, who will make the delivery? Try to think of it. There will be a guy who will be delivering the pizza, the delivery boy. That guy has to be there so that I can receive my pizza, right? So if I want to eat one pizza and I want to order one pizza in my address, at my address, then what are the steps that are to be done? So first thing that we require is the wheat, then we require the pizza shop, and then we require the delivery guy for receiving the pizza, right? Now let's bring this story into our biology world. Now if we bring this story in our biology world, how things will look like, let's see. Now in our biology world, what we have one sac-like structure which is known as the alveolus, present in lung. Around the alveolus, we have some capillaries, right? And they ultimately lead to the circulatory system, systemic circulation, and the systemic circulation brings blood or takes blood to the body tissues, right? So this will ultimately take the blood to the body tissue, right? Now, for oxygen to reach body tissue, what are the steps? For oxygen to reach body tissue, you first will be requiring what? First, oxygen has to be present in the alveolus, then that oxygen has to come to the blood. Now that oxygen that comes into the blood has to be transported via some media into the tissue so that we can get oxygen in the tissue, right? And for oxygen to come into the alveolus, in the atmosphere you also need to have oxygen, right? Now let's understand what is hypoxia. Hypoxia is defined as decreased delivery of oxygen to tissue. Hypoxia is decreased delivery of oxygen to tissues. Now try to understand why oxygen delivery will get decreased. Now let us understand how the supply of oxygen or delivery of oxygen to the tissues can get hampered. Now let's say if the blood supply to the tissue gets hampered, in that situation oxygen may not get delivered to the tissue, right? If there is not enough oxygen in the blood, that can jeopardize the supply of oxygen to the tissues. Or if there is not a proper oxygen carrying machinery from the lungs to the target tissue, in that situation we can get a decreased delivery of oxygen to the tissues. Now let's summarize the causes of hypoxia then, right? So what are the causes of hypoxia? Let us understand. Now causes of hypoxia are three. Now first cause is ischemia, which is decreased blood flow to the tissue, decreased tissue blood flow. It can be hypoxemia, that is decreased oxygen in blood, or it can be decreased oxygen carrying capacity, decreased O2 carrying capacity. Don't worry, I believe that these terms may seem confusing to you, but I will be clarifying these terms in a while. Don't worry. So this is decreased oxygen carrying capacity, right? So these are the three causes of hypoxia. Now let us explore each cause one by one. Now first let us come to ischemia. Ischemia is decreased blood supply to the tissue. Now in what cases there can be a decreased blood supply to the tissue? Now suppose we have a tissue over here. We have a tissue, right? Now in the tissue, arterial components bring in the blood and venous components take away the blood from the tissue, right? And a capillary is formed around the tissue. Now what can be the possible causes? If the arterial blood that is coming, if that gets decreased, that can be a cause of ischemia, right? If the blood that comes to the tissue gets decreased, that simply means that the delivery of blood to the tissue is less, which is ischemia, right? And that will in turn lead to less amount of oxygen delivery to the tissue. Secondly, if suppose blood in the venous system or venous component of the capillary gets stagnant, if blood in the venous component gets stagnant, fresh blood cannot come in through the capillary system into the tissue. So venous congestion, if there's venous congestion, then also it can cause ischemia to the tissue, because as veins are already filled with pre-existing blood, new flow of blood cannot come in and the tissue won't be receiving oxygen from the new flow of blood, right? Because the earlier which blood came into the tissue, that blood already delivered oxygen to the tissue. Now if that blood cannot drain out of the tissue, new flow of blood cannot come in, which will have more supply of oxygen. So eventually it will lead to decreased supply of oxygen or hypoxia. So this can be the second cause, or there can be another third cause. That third cause is there can be a shock in the body. So shock is a different phenomenon, and we will be discussing about shock in details when we will be talking about cardiovascular physiology. Now in shock, what happens, just remember that there's poor tissue perfusion due to hypotension. In shock you have two things. You have hypotension, the pressure falls, blood pressure falls, and for that you have poor tissue perfusion. Now as there's poor tissue perfusion, that means less amount of blood is reaching the tissue, which simply means ischemia, right? So there are the three causes of ischemia. So let's see what are the three causes of ischemia. The three causes of ischemia are: first, decreased arterial supply, decreased arterial flow, venous stagnation, or the third is shock. So these are the causes of your ischemia. I hope this makes your idea about ischemia clear. Now we will move to the second reason of hypoxia, that is your hypoxemia. Now hypo means less, oxy means oxygen, and whenever you have the word mia, whenever you see the word mia in medicine and biology, always think that that means presence of that in the blood. Mia simply means presence in blood. So now, due to any reason, less amount of blood is present in the less amount of oxygen is present in the blood, that is known as hypoxemia. So what is hypo means less, oxy means oxygen, and mia means the state of presence in blood. Whenever you have something in blood, that is known as mia. For example, if you have urea in blood, that is known as uremia, right? Whenever you have virus in blood, we call that viremia. So the word mia simply means presence in blood, right? So with this knowledge, let us see what are the causes of hypoxemia, why blood will have less amount of oxygen, right? Let's see that. Now for that, let us bring back the diagram that we already saw in this video module. Here we have our alveolus. Around the alveolus we have the blood capillaries, right? Now over here, the part which I am highlighting right now is the respiratory membrane through which diffusion will be occurring, right? So let us label the parts. This is our respiratory membrane or diffusion membrane. This is blood capillary, and this is alveolus. Right? Now what will happen? Let us see the normal physiology. What is the normal physiology? A certain amount of oxygen is present in the atmosphere, and in the atmosphere oxygen has its own partial pressure. So that is oxygen, partial pressure of oxygen in atmosphere, that is PaTmO2. There is a certain value. Now that oxygen comes into the lungs and into the alveolus. That causes a partial pressure of oxygen in the alveolus. Partial pressure is what? The part of the pressure contributed by an individual gas in the entire air, which simply means that if you have certain partial pressure of a gas, that means that gas is present in that particular area. Partial pressure is just a simple way to describe the amount of presence in particular tissue of gases, right? So if oxygen comes into the alveoli, there will be a certain partial pressure of oxygen in alveolus, that is termed as PaO2, capital A, right? Now this oxygen will require to cross the membrane to get into the capillary, and in capillary, that if oxygen reaches, so that will be partial pressure of oxygen in artery, so P small aO2. Let's try to understand this idea clearly. Let me repeat again. First of all, we all know that in atmosphere we have some oxygen, and due to its presence in atmosphere, oxygen will have a partial pressure in the atmosphere, that is PaTmO2. Now that oxygen, as it is present in the atmosphere, with inspiration it can come down into the lungs, into the alveolus or the alveoli. Now if oxygen comes into the alveolus, then oxygen will be present in the alveolus. Now if oxygen is present within the alveolus, you will have a partial pressure of oxygen within the alveolus, that is noted as P capital AO2, right? And if oxygen is present in the alveolus, that oxygen will try to diffuse through the diffusion membrane and get into the blood. And once oxygen gets into the blood, there will be a partial pressure of oxygen in the blood. And what will be that partial pressure? That will be P small aO2, right? Now, what is the definition of hypoxemia? Hypoxemia simply means less amount of oxygen present in blood. Now, if less amount of oxygen is present in blood, that simply means that we can summarize it as hypoxemia. Sorry, I'm very bad with spellings, never mind that. Hypoxemia is equivalent to decreased PaO2. If the oxygen present in blood decreases, the partial pressure of oxygen in blood will decrease. So partial pressure of oxygen in blood is represented by P small aO2. So essentially hypoxemia can be reflected by decreased PaO2. So this is an important statement, right? Now in what situations the PaO2 will decrease? Let us see. Suppose if we have less amount of oxygen in the atmosphere, then if less amount of oxygen is present in the atmosphere, less amount of oxygen will enter the lungs. Less amount of oxygen, if it enters lungs, then less amount of oxygen will be available in the alveolus. If in the alveolus we have less amount of oxygen available, then very less amount of oxygen will cross the diffusion membrane, and as very less amount of oxygen crosses the diffusion membrane, the amount of oxygen in the blood will also be less. So one cause can be decreased atmospheric pressure of oxygen, right, or decreased oxygen in the atmosphere. And when that happens in high altitudes. In high altitudes, in mountains, right? Now another thing can happen. Now if you have some problem with breathing, if you breathe less, if you inspire less, then less amount of oxygen will come down into your alveolus. So there can be decreased oxygen in your alveolus, right? So that can be caused by hypoventilation. If you inspire less, then there will be less amount of oxygen coming into the lungs, so the partial pressure of oxygen within the alveolus will be low. So hypoventilation can be another cause, that is our cause 2. Now suppose the atmospheric oxygen levels are okay, you are breathing fine, even after that oxygen reaching to the blood is less. In that situation, what can go wrong? In that situation, suppose you have some problem with the diffusion membrane, then also the enough amount of oxygen won't be able to cross the diffusion membrane and go to the blood. In that situation also, you will have very low amount of oxygen in the blood. And what is that situation called? So that will be called as diffusion membrane defects, or diffusion defects basically. Somehow oxygen is not diffusing out of the alveoli into the blood, right? Even after this can be our reason 3. Apart from these 3 reasons, there can be another reason for hypoxemia. Let us understand that. Now, this is a very rough diagram of our lungs, and the part of respiratory tree, having the trachea over here and the two bronchi. Right. Now in lungs, I hope you have learned in your physiology that all the parts of lungs don't get equal oxygen supply and all the parts of lungs do not have the equal level of blood supply. That means there's a disparity in ventilation, that is oxygen supply, and perfusion, that is blood supply. Suppose these parts of the lungs get a lot of oxygen, whereas the part of the lung which gets a lot of blood supply may be this part. Now the part which is getting a lot of blood supply is not getting a lot of oxygen supply. In that situation, even if lungs is receiving a lot of oxygen, it may so happen that the oxygen is in a certain place where there is not enough blood supply, blood there, right? So in that situation, what will happen? The enough oxygen will not enter the blood. Now we can take up an analogy and understand that. Suppose there is a pizza store somewhere, right? This is a pizza store. This pizza store receives a lot of orders, many orders it receives, but the number of delivery chaps is very limited. It has only, suppose it has only 2 delivery chaps, so the 2 delivery chaps are not able to supply all the orders. That means even if the pizza shop is receiving a lot of orders, since it has very less amount of people delivering the pizzas, there is a disparity between receiving the orders and supplying the orders, right? Similarly, even if the lungs receives a lot of oxygen in certain places, if those particular places don't have enough blood supply or do not have high blood supply, then enough oxygen won't get loaded into the blood. In that situation also hypoxia can occur, right? So this is our fourth reason of hypoxia, right? This is our reason 4 of hypoxia. So let's summarize the reasons of hypoxemia, right? So what are the reasons of hypoxemia? Let us understand. Now first, the atmospheric oxygen can be low, that is high altitude, right? The oxygen within the alveoli can be low, that is hypoventilation, right? Third, which can happen, if atmospheric oxygen is okay, alveolar oxygen is okay, there can be some problems with the diffusion, there can be diffusion defects, and even if there is no problem with the diffusion, there can be ventilation perfusion mismatch. V stands for ventilation, Q stands for perfusion, ventilation perfusion mismatch. Do not worry if you do not understand what is ventilation perfusion mismatch. In our respiratory physiology module we will discuss about it in details. So in summary, these are the 4 causes of hypoxemia. Alright, now let us go and understand the final and the third cause of hypoxia, which is decreased oxygen carrying capacity, decreased O2 carrying capacity. Now which body fluid carries oxygen in the body? Blood. Particularly which component of blood carries oxygen? The RBCs. If I tell you to be more specific, which particular part of RBC carries oxygen? The hemoglobin. That means if you have certain problem with the RBC or certain problem with the hemoglobin, then it may lead to decreased oxygen carrying capacity, right? Okay, now what can be that problem? If due to any reason you have less number of RBC or hemoglobin or no RBC or hemoglobin, in that situation you won't be having proper oxygen carrying. The same way we discussed in our pizza delivery story, RBC and oxygen are just like our pizza delivery boy, RBC and hemoglobin. If we do not have enough pizza delivery boys or enough pizza delivery girls, the pizza won't get delivered to me. Similarly, if we do not have enough RBCs or enough hemoglobin, the oxygen won't get delivered to the tissue, and that will lead to hypoxia. Now in what situation there can be problems? Now there can be three situations, right? Now what are the three situations? Let us see. Now decreased oxygen carrying capacity can occur due to anemia. Now what is anemia? Anemia is decreased RBC mass. Simply, if I try to put it simply, anemia is decreased RBC mass. Now what are the causes of anemia? What are the clinical presentations of anemia? What is the particular pathogenesis of anemia? That we will be discussing in details in our pathology module on anemia. Right now I am just telling you that just remember that in anemia you will have decrease in RBC mass, and that decrease in, as you have decreased in RBC mass, there will be decreased oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. Now what can be the other reason of decreased oxygen carrying capacity? If you have carbon monoxide poisoning, in that situation you can also have decreased oxygen carrying capacity. Why? Because the carbon monoxide, it is carbon monoxide poisoning, right? Carbon monoxide binds more avidly to Hb. That is hemoglobin, and as carbon monoxide binds more avidly to Hb, oxygen doesn't get to bind with hemoglobin. So this leads to decreased oxygen binding of hemoglobin. As hemoglobin will be binding less amount of oxygen, less oxygen supplied to tissue, less O2 carrying to tissue, right? So due to carbon monoxide poisoning also, oxygen carrying capacity of the blood can get hampered, right? So this is our second reason. And what is the third reason of decreased oxygen carrying capacity? If you have a disease known as methemoglobinemia, that is presence of a lot of methemoglobin in blood, in that situation also you will have what? You will have decreased oxygen carrying capacity of blood. Now which component of RBC binds to, which component of hemoglobin binds to oxygen? In hemoglobin, the iron 2+ ion binds with oxygen, right? Now in methemoglobinemia, what happens? This iron 2+ gets converted into iron 3+ ion. And what is the process? Yes, I know you people are very good in chemistry. This process is known as oxidation. If somehow your ferrous ion gets oxidized into ferric ion, then ferric ion could not bind with oxygen. In that situation, the hemoglobin which has a ferric ion will not be able to carry oxygen, and the hemoglobin which has a ferric ion is known as methemoglobin, and presence of methemoglobin in blood is known as methemoglobinemia. I told you that mia refers to a state of presence in blood. So now what are the causes of decreased oxygen carrying capacity? One is anemia, second is carbon monoxide poisoning, and third is methemoglobinemia. Now let us see what hypoxia causes to the tissue. Now suppose we have a cell. This is a big cell. In the cell we have a round nucleus. Let's not bother about the nucleus right now. We know that in the cells we have another organelle which is known as the mitochondria. We have a very important organelle which is known as mitochondria, right? Now the mitochondria, what is the role of mitochondria? Mitochondria requires oxygen and it produces ATP. ATP is the energy currency of the body, and ATP is required in many energy requiring processes. But now if you have hypoxia, what will happen in hypoxia? Suppose if you have hypoxia, again I am very bad with spellings. If you have hypoxia means you have decreased oxygen coming to mitochondria, If you have decreased oxygen coming to mitochondria, the ATP production will get decreased. As there will be scarcity of ATP, the processes occurring in cell which require ATP will also get jeopardized. If those processes get hampered, then that will lead to certain consequences. These things will lead to consequences, and these consequences will lead to cell injury. Now, how exactly this cell injury occurs, that is our topic of discussion of the next video module. In the next video module, we will be discussing in details about what happens when oxygen is less, that is when we have hypoxia and ATP is not produced in ample amount. Now, in this video, we just tried to see how hypoxia is a stressor and what are the causes of hypoxia, and we discussed in details each cause of hypoxia and how those things can happen, right? Now, as we will be learning pathology in different situations, we will be seeing that hypoxia is the main cause of causing cell injury, and that cell injury leads to different pathologies. I hope you have understood this concept of hypoxia well. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, share this video among your peers in your medical school or medical college, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet by chance, please do subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon and select the all option so that you never miss a video from my channel. Until then, bye bye, see you in a next one.